Right now, the Shenandoah Valley is at a crossroads. We love open space, quiet streets, growing families, small business, and the character of Winchester, Stevens City, Front Royal, and Strasburg. But there's an economic force knocking on our doors: data centers. Today, we're breaking down the real pros and the real cons of this industry. Data centers are giant facilities that store and process massive amounts of digital information. From cloud computing to AI to government and banks, they take on the look of large concrete warehouses with servers, generators, and cooling systems. Let's take a look at what's happened in Loudoun County. It's become the data center capital of the United States. And those data centers are generating a lot of tax revenue for the county. The revenue the county takes in from the taxes of the data centers goes towards funding the school system, paying for road projects, and public services. Data centers can provide a large chunk of tax revenue. For smaller cities like Winchester and Front Royal, that type of revenue could help create better infrastructure and also relieve some of the tax burden on homeowners.
Another pro is the economic activity. During the construction phase, data centers require significant upfront construction, site work, electrical installation, heavy equipment, and specialized trades. That creates short-term jobs for contractors, electricians, engineers, and local suppliers. There are also permanent jobs tied into maintenance and operations. But here's where we need to balance the conversation. Once the data center is built, it doesn't employ hundreds of people. These facilities are highly automated. A building that covers dozens of acres may only need a small team of workers. So while construction brings in a temporary spike in jobs, the long-term employment impact is limited compared to other types of industries. Now let's talk about land use. In parts of Northern Virginia, data center development has directly competed with housing and mixed-use development. Developers are often able to pay high prices for land because of the revenue that these facilities will develop. This can push up the value of the land, making it harder for housing developments and other local businesses to compete. Then there's the infrastructure strain. Data centers consume massive amounts of electricity. They also require substantial cooling systems, which means water usage and additional infrastructure. In Loudoun County, growth in this sector has required new high voltage lines, transmission lines, and significant upgrades to the electrical grid. That raises important questions for our region. Will our existing infrastructure support that kind of demand?
Noise from cooling system has also been a complaint in many communities. And that brings us to quality of life. Many people choose to live in the Northern Shenandoah Valley for space, the scenic beauty, and the peace. In Loudoun County, some residents have expressed frustration about the visual impacts of large industrial buildings and the low hum of cooling equipment in the residential areas. If development isn't thoughtfully planned and properly buffered from neighborhoods, these can become concerns. So where does this leave us? On the pro side, significant tax revenue, potential funding for schools and infrastructure, short-term construction jobs. On the con side, limited long-term employment, pressure on land use and housing, infrastructure and environmental strain, and possible impacts on character and quality of life that define our region. This isn't about being for or against growth, but it is about being intentional. If data centers are coming to Winchester, Stevens City, Front Royal, or Strasburg, then zoning decisions, environmental safeguards, infrastructure planning, and community input will matter more than ever. What kind of region do we want to have in 10 to 20 years from now? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Drop a comment below. And if you want more hyperlocal updates on growth, development, and real estate trends in our area, make sure to subscribe.